Welcome along, SBR GC3 Season 5 at Spa, and it's round 3 of what's becoming an epic season. Kevin winning the first race, Bobby the second, but we'll move on to what's new this week before the racing starts. And Tassos is in to replace Liam, whose wheel stopped working in the week and didn't get one in time. Brian and Coleman have moved to the Corvette, and Coleman can't make the race tonight, so will be replaced by Matt. Tried to ignore his PSN. Bobby has now got a teammate, and the teammate is Andrew Osler, and he'll drive the second Aston Martin. But to the grid, and it's Tassos and Jake sharing the front row ahead of Sean and Will. Then it's Kevin and Cozzy ahead of Lewis and Adam. Matt, great debut, and Yorgos, Ben and Bobby. Then it's Brian and Andrew, and on the back row Nathan, who never got a time in, and Panos, who had a penalty. We'll go through the tyres, who's on what, because there's a few tyre things happening, a few strategies that are different, but we'll get ready for the start. And we're away at Spa, and it looked like a great launch from Jake as usual in the Porsche, but no, he can't do anything about that Alfa Romeo, which has got away like a scolded cat, and it is literally lengths in front as they go into the first corner. Kevin got a great start as well, tried to go round the outside of Jake, didn't happen. Midfield calamities, looked like a Lexus Adam involved as well, and looked like Lewis as well, so 3 wide going down to Eau Rouge. Good luck with that, and they're going to have to sort it out by the time they pop over Radion, and it looks like they're going to, it looked like it was Cozzy that got the advantage there. But a great start from Tassos, he leads in Liam's car. Jake's getting the slipstream from the Alpha and pulling to second place ahead of Kevin, and Sean 4th, and Matt's up to 5th with a rocket start, but now drops to 6th as no, he stays 5th. Will was challenging, and who's that off? Yorgos is off. Is that Yorgos? Yes, and so is Andrew. So are the two linked? Doesn't look like it. Looks like Andrew might have just lost it by himself. Yeah, he's gone in a bit deep, and then, well, yeah, he's just lost the back end of the Aston Martin. But as they funnel down now through X corner, what a sight as these cars plough through this middle sector of the beautiful Spa track. So let's try and get to the tyres then. So everybody is on super softs except for Jake on softs, Ben on mediums, Nathan on mediums, Andrew mediums, and Panos, who started at the back, mediums, as Will goes wide at Pouon, and that's going to drop him 2-3 places. And after a great start from Will and a great qualifying, he's messed that up slightly. Yorgos is on the recovery, and Andrew's learning on his first race. And Cozzy there trying to get inside Matt there, not quite pulling that off. Through Paul Freire and out on now onto the back straight up towards Blanchimont, a corner that makes everyone breathe in. So they funnel through. Tassos still leads from Jake. Kevin and Sean is the lead group. Kevin goes agricultural, but stays in 3rd place. And Jake trying to take the lead off Tassos, but not managing that so far. Ooh, and this is going to be chaos. Cozzy goes sideways, loses it, comes back, and Adam tries to take the position, but it looks like Cozzy's got that one covered, and he has. But Bobby moving up well in the start of this race, up to 8th place, and might even take 7th right now. Let's see. Ooh, he got hit up the back there from Lewis, and Lewis takes advantage and takes the positions. Well, if that isn't a penalty, I don't know what is. Let's see if he gives it back. No. So that has been reported, and unfortunately at this time of doing this video, the stewards' decisions had not been made. So you'll have to join Liam's video for that one, round 4. But the battle for the lead is now raging. Jake's trying to go around the outside of Tassos. Kevin trying to stick his nose in where there is a gap, but can't find one. Now there's contact between Tassos and Jake takes the lead around the outside. Jake off the track, gets a 0.5 penalty, but good move around the outside, a bit of contact, and Kevin, well, Tassos jumps straight out the way and lets Kevin through, which seems to be a theme. So Kevin up to 2nd, Tassos down to 3rd. But a few good movers and shakers in this race already. Bobby flying up the order, and Matt as well with a lightning start is up well, and in 5th place. So quite a good debut so far as Sean tries to take on Tassos, now trying to go round the outside into the flip-flap, but that's not happening. Into Stavlo they come. So we've got a few groups now, it's not one big line. And now Ben trying to move up past Brian, is that? Yep. Nathan and Ben moving forward on the mediums, being joined by, looks like Panos, he's also on mediums, so the medium's starting to kick in now. So back at the front, Jake leads from Kevin, Tassos and Sean, this lead group. Sean sat back at the moment, fastest lap for Jake, which is instantly beaten by Kevin. They're all pretty much doing the same lap times. Jake feeling a need to cover into the first corner there. The rest come flying through. Ben and Nathan working together to try and get up the order on their mediums. And that is that contact. That looked like Bobby into the back of Will. Will's just about missed the rest of them, and he'll come across back onto the... No, he won't. He's got a reset. And it happened again as well, so that's Will's race completely ruined. He'll be well at the back now. As Jake just about holding on from Kevin. These two really pushing each other hard. Kevin should have the straight line speed, and he's actually dragging along Tassos as well, who's being challenged by Sean. So let's go in 4 abreast, why not? What's the worst that could happen? But they all managed to sort it all out. Good professional driving there. Just mention that the alphas, if I can, before there's craziness. Nope, there's craziness, I have to go back to that. So Matt and Cozzy having a bit of contact, that's allowed Bobby now up to 7th place. Just mention that the Alfa Romeos have got a Hubert tribute, as Liam normally does for the Belgian track. Anytime we come to Spa, he runs a Hubert tribute, so Tassos and Lewis's cars are pink where they are normally red and orange. So look out for that there, you can see on the back of the Alfa. So just a mention of the French driver. Bobby though still holding on against Cozzy. Cozzy trying to take that place straight back, and if he can hold the inside he might get it into the flip-flap, but doesn't quite. Backs out the move. Cozzy was one driver that was vilified for his driving at Interlagos, but he seems to have sorted it out for this race. He's promised that he has, and no doubt in his speed, as I've mentioned before, but just needs to clean his act up, and he will be a very, very good driver. Speaking of good drivers, Jake and Kevin are going side by side as they head towards Blanchimont. One of them's not going to be able to get around this corner, but Jake has the inside up on the curb, hits Kevin. Kevin goes wide off into the Astro and off into Neverland, but comes back and they're still fighting it out. Kevin takes the position, but Jake's still holding on around the outside. Kevin's not seen him. Bit of contact. And good racing, I would call that. Pretty forceful, but on the edge of what's allowed, I would say, is well, Matt gets completely sideways coming out the last chicane. Jake retakes the lead around the outside and into the first corner. And Sean's having a bit of this. He's got past Tassos and all that mayhem as we were concentrating on the leaders. So the top 4 still pulling away. Lewis up to 5th. Bobby's 6th now ahead of Cozzy. Then Matt's dropped back a bit. Adam is there. He's got the medium tyre cars of Ben and Nathan all over him as he starts to wear out the tyres on the Porsche, which is a common theme this season, unfortunately for them. But here we go for the lead again. Kevin's trying again, this time around the outside into Les Combes, and he's got Sean with him. He's going to try and press the issue, and there's contact obviously as they try to squeeze each other, and that's always going to happen. Kevin expected Jake to back out, but that's never going to happen, and now Jake trying to go around the outside. Ooh, and Lewis has been pushed out as well. He tried to turn in on Bobby. Bobby was already there, and Bobby now flying up the order. He's up to 5th now. Remember, he started way back, I think about 11th, and he is storming up the order, as are Nathan's got past Adam and he's up into 9th place from the very back. Ben flashing his lights at Adam, trying to distract him. Take a bit more than that though, I presume. Kevin has the lead that he will feel is rightly his, ahead of Jake. Sean 3rd. And Tassos from pole is down to 4th. And just struggling to stay in touch with these guys. Might be tyre related. Bobby now trying to pull Cozzy up towards this front group. And will Jake retaliate to Kevin? He's right in a slipstream. He's on the harder tyre, but he's wearing them out quicker than the super softs on the Mercedes. So all that front group on super softs, bar Jake, who's on softs. Jake trying to go around the outside. He'll press that issue, go for it. He's going to try and force it. He can't quite hold on to it and has to settle for 2nd place. Now gets sideways, and that's going to allow Sean around the outside, and it does. Sean into 2nd place, and Jake just really struggling with these tyres. Cozzy's ahead of Bobby, so Bobby's made a mistake. Cozzy's taken the place. Meanwhile, Nathan's in 8th, and he is ahead of Matt now, so Nathan making good progress. Ben still down there in 10th place, not making much progress on his mediums. Kevin though now has the issue of Sean. Sean's been sat back in this group for the first opening laps and has probably been saving his tyres and fuel, and he is now on the attack to try and take the lead around the outside of Kevin. And look at his tyres compared to Kevin's, they're way better. That's just intelligence. He was just sat back waiting, and Kevin's sideways there, look, really struggling. Jake still watching, still wants to get involved in this lead battle. So head into the mid sector of the track. And the rest steam through the middle sector as this 3rd group, and Nathan now all over the back of his next victim. Can't quite make out, it might be Lewis. Battle for the lead still raging. Kevin's still just trying to hold off Sean, but is Sean just sat there quite content? No, he's not. He's trying to overtake. So out of the what I call the Piff Path chicane, which is the Fania chicane, through Stavelot and through then on to Curva Paul Freire, Blanchimont, and then the final bus stop chicane. And it is Lewis that he's caught. You can see that Nathan's gapped that group behind, so he's really got those mediums working well. Ben's struggling to get through the group because he just doesn't have the power, but there has been a bit of a change in that 4-car group. That's probably why Nathan did pull a gap actually, because Matt's gone wide at Pouon, which has allowed Adam alongside him. Adam will try and go around the outside. Ben's seen an opportunity and gone down the inside, and a bit of contact with Adam as they're alongside each other. Ben will try and go around the outside, which is possible because he's got the mediums. Adam's got no grip, he's spinning up the rears, and that's put Ben through. And then does Panos follow through? Yes, he does. So Adam's getting all the indication he needs from his tyres, which are knackered and you need to pit. Kevin though has got big issues with Sean. Jake's there, and Jake peels off into the pits. He's had enough, so he's made the softs last 5 laps, and if he was on super softs it would have been less. Really struggling on the tyres with that Porsche this season. In he comes. So he's pitted with 31 litres. Nathan's getting off his mediums. He's done the 4 laps that he needed to do, and Lewis is in, probably with the same sort of wear issues. Panos is in to get off his mediums as well. So we'll have to see how this all shakes out. See what tyres these guys go on to as well. Again, strategy a massive part of these races. With the super soft and medium tyres all available, then you can work a little strategy. Yorgos then up to 7th, Adam 8th, Brian's up to 9th. Right, so Jake goes on to softs again. Super softs for Nathan. He's got the mediums out the way, so he can run super softs to the end now. Mediums for Lewis. Ben's on softs, so he's obviously seen Jake's example and thought he'd try it out. Let's see what Panos is on. I believe Panos is on super softs. He is. And Matt comes out on softs as well, so he's following the example of his friend Jake. Meanwhile, the lead battle shows no signs of calming down, but these two are pulling away from Tassos. So Kevin with the lead as they head through Puon. Sean's definitely got more grip though, and he's all over the back of the Mercedes. You can see the height difference in these two cars. That's what's great about BOP. All different sorts of cars, and the Alpha looks like a go-kart compared to these lead cars. Brian doing a good job in 9th place, but using a lot of fuel, as we've seen from Brian before. So Lewis on his mediums ahead of Ben on softs, and then super softs from Panos. So I know it's going to be confusing, but we'll try and keep you updated on who's on what and what strategies they're on. But 2-stop was the order of the day for most people, I would say. I think 1 or 2 maybe with horrific tyre problems will go for 3, so maybe Jake will have to do 3. And these two now braking for the bus stop. Will they pit? Yes, they pit together. And Tassos and look like Cozzy as well. Cozzy making good ground. So you can see who's saved the most fuel, and well, Tassos has saved the most fuel in 32, with Kevin and Cozzy as well. Meanwhile, this battle is through Blanchimont. Oh, Lewis loses the back end over the curb. That's going to allow Ben round the outside. Now, can he brake late enough to go around the outside of the Alpha? No, but well, Lewis went in way too deep, and he loses 2 positions. So Kevin comes out on super softs, as does Tassos, and they're rejoining in amongst the group. Sean comes out behind Nathan. So Nathan's made up a lot of ground, but he didn't fill the tank up. That's why I think Sean's pitting full fuel. And Lewis on his mediums not enjoying them at all as this battle rages, with Panos on the softer tyre trying to take advantage of them before they go off. Ben's feeling good on the softs, so he picks the side. He's not allowed to move again, and Panos will try and do this around the outside on the softer tyre. He's got a chance, but Ben a bit later on the brakes. Can he make the apex? Yes, he does. So that's a good little battle there, and Matt should just blast past that Porsche quite easily on power. Yep, American muscle passes German stuff. So it's Will that leads at the moment, having not pitted. Kevin up to 2nd as he's got past Tassos, and Tassos passing Jake there. Was that, or that just holding position? But Jake's all over the back of Tassos. Then it's Cozzy. Sean's dropped back quite a lot, but he's put a lot of fuel in. So again, we've seen this before, where one puts in a lot of fuel, one doesn't, and the guy that doesn't put the fuel in tries to make a break. But Sean is past Nathan, so that's quite critical for him, but he would have lost time. Bobby's still in 8th, Ben 9th now, where Yorgos goes wide, and that allows Panos through. Now what happened there? Ben round the outside. Whoa, look at that, passing Yorgos, and well, Yorgos doing what the Greek guys tend to do, which is let the other guy through. They work as a team by the looks of it, which can be quite frustrating for some. But Will leads, but he is going to have to pit. He's running out of fuel and tyres. Kevin's there with Tassos and Jake closing in with Cozzy. So this is still anyone's race at the moment. Will, though, struggling to even stop for the final chicane. He's obviously paying the bill for the tyres, and well, let's go 3 wide out last corner. Jake's lost it though. Oh, just keeps it out of the wall. And in comes Will with 5 litres of fuel left. Jake holding on to that one as Tassos now tries to get on the inside of Cozzy, and he won't make that difficult for him, as we know. And he takes up 2nd place. He'll go after Kevin, but I don't know if he's allowed to overtake him. Ben 8th, Panos 9th, 10th for Lewis, 11th is Adam, but only just because he's having a right battle with Matt. And that's Adam through, and who's that coming up? That's Will. So can they both jump Will? Yorgos pits meanwhile, and nope, Will stays in front, but we've got the run up to Le Combe yet through Rouge up over the top of Radion to sort this out. Porsche not the greatest in a straight line, but the Corvette's pretty good. Kevin with an easy lead at the moment ahead of Cozzy, and who's that round? That's Tassos. He's dropped it. Oh, Jake's up the inside, pushes him off. Tassos takes exception to that and takes Jake out. So, well, that was a bit naughty from both of them. Jake, with a bit of a touring car move down the inside, makes the room for himself, and then Tassos takes exception to that and just takes him out, and they're both off into the barrier. And you've got to say, kind of, well, justice prevailed in the end. They both just ended up in the barrier and probably both deserved to be there. Pretty dodgy driving. And Tassos rejoins in 10th. Jake rejoins with the best of that in 5th. So Kevin it is that still leads. Cozzy second. But obviously the next stops will reveal quite a lot as people put the fuel in that they need and the tyres they need to get to the end, if they're two-stopping, which I believe most are. Will's definitely two-stopping after going so late into the race. Ooh, sideways from Adam and Matt as well. These two are in a right battle, trying to cover it as much as we can, but there's quite a lot going on. And who's this battling? That's Yorgos and Brian. Brian used a lot of fuel though in that first stint, and that's put him back. Kevin just stretching away though, like we've seen before. But this time I don't think he's got it quite as easy, because Sean's definitely in this, and so's Nathan. I've been coming from the back on an alternate strategy. There's Jake with Bobby right behind him. Ben as well is just starting to get involved in this race. Lewis on his mediums are really struggling though. Cars in front of him have already used the mediums, so he's going to struggle in this race. Will's got an outside chance of a good result. But these two are more interested in who's going to finish 12th by the looks of it. They're literally flying at each other as they go through Blanchimont side by side, and the inevitable happens. Matt goes off the track, comes back on a bit dangerously though, and almost takes Adam out. Adam won't give up though. And, well, he's setting him up for a switchback, and from that angle it should be pretty easy as Matt goes in far too deep, can't get the power down. Andrew at the back. Meanwhile, so Nathan and Sean just buzzing along together, trying not to hold each other up. Bobby attacks Jake, trying to take 5th position. Bobby having a great race, the winner of the sprint race at Interlagos. And that's not going to work, he's going to go too deep, and Jake retakes the position. Ben now all over the back of him on his softs. Jake's definitely wearing those tyres out more than anyone else though, well, with the exception of his teammate. So down into X corner. And these two still at it, not giving an inch, having a bit of contact, but it's great racing. And that's Matt down the inside again as Adam holds on around the outside with the Porsche, although they're going to have to sort it out before X corner, and Adam almost loses it, comes back on, and is that the end of that? Matt taking the position. Cozzy doing a great job up in 2nd place though, and that's exactly what I want to see from Cozzy though. Absolutely perfect driving. Sean still trying to catch up to Cozzy and he's edging up to him. This battle looks like it could get intense. Jake, Ben and Bobby in the Aston, the Sega Aston, just behind the Porsche, the Corrius Porsche, if I'm saying that right. And then Ben in his GoPro Mazda. Will Bobby go down the inside? Surely he's going to look for it. He looks, but can't quite match the Porsche for braking. Jake goes in there sideways just to make sure. As that second group carries on, so well, you got to say the big gains in this race. Nathan definitely moving well up into 4th place now, and he started 15th. So the medium tyre at the start has helped his progress, I would say. He's managed to stay with the group on that medium tyre. So great effort from him. But I would say it's Kevin and Sean for the win, and now, well, Cozzy must have made a slight error because now Sean is all over him, and that's going to allow Sean through down the inside. Mazda and Lexus pretty equal on top speed. Sean's going to have to make this fit, and it does. Cozzy fought it to the end, but around the outside you're not going to get that done on similar tyre life. Ben making a mistake there, and that's going to drop him off the back of Jake, as Bobby has got through on pure power. And that's Bobby up to 5th again, so Bobby really is having a great race. Cozzy is another one that's having a great race, and Nathan's probably the one that's really surprising up from the back. So Bobby, Jake and Ben find it out for 5th place. Just off the back is Panos, who's not really got those super softs working to his advantage. Then we have the 2 alphas in 9th and 10th. Tassos will be disappointed with that, having taken pole position. But yeah, it's contact with Jake, which was slightly self-inflicted. Let's put him right down the back, and these guys are still going at it. It's literally like a touring car race. They are knocking hell out of each other, but they're loving it, you can tell. And they're only battling for the latter stages of the points, but it's like they're battling for the win. Sean up to 2nd place now. Can he close a bit on Kevin to make it a bit more difficult for Kevin in the final stages of the race? Bobby wide, and he's lucky to get away with that. Sometimes that can be an auto spin and straight in the wall, but he's got away with it. Jake's got a 0.5 penalty for reasons that I haven't seen. And all this is holding Ben up on his soft tyre, which should have been helpful to him at this stage. Jake also on that soft tyre, but really not getting the grip, and he pits. That'll be a relief to Ben. Now he's got to try and get past an Aston Martin, which is not slow on the straight. So Nathan's in as well. He'll go for another set of super softs, and Jake will go on to the mediums because that's the only tyre he hasn't run yet. So far I'm keeping up with this. Nathan will need a lot of fuel to get to the end, probably a full tank. Let's see. Yep. And Jake probably about the same, I would say. But he should be able to get a set of mediums to the end, I would have thought. Just see if it is mediums. The graphic, yep, he's on to mediums. He's come out ahead of that battle between Adam and Matt, which Yorgos seems to be involved with as well. So Ben now catching Bobby in the Sega Aston. And well, Sean is behind Cozzy again, so Cozzy's obviously drilled him down the straight. Nope, Sean made a mistake into Les Combes, and that's all the encouragement that Cozzy needs, and a great move. He timed that perfectly, switched back and got round the outside of Sean, so Cozzy really driving well today. Look back to that battle which we've seen already. Panos though really not getting the most out of his super softs, and that's costing him, as Tassos and Lewis still go at it. Tassos still ahead of Lewis on his mediums. So Nathan on super softs with his teammate Will behind on used super softs, and Jake, as we mentioned, on mediums ahead of Matt on softs, Yorgos super softs, and now Adam on mediums. So still waiting for some pit stops to be made, and then we can figure out who's where and who's probably going to finish where. Kevin looks like he's going to probably be up for the win, especially with that lap time. The fastest lap of the race is at 16.6, I believe. That's a fast lap. Can we see anyone in the background? No, not at the moment. Cozzy's going to do a job. I would have fought for him, holding up Sean. Not intentionally, of course. Through Blanchimont they come now, into Blanchimont. One of the most challenging corners to try and keep it on the track. Cozzy, they're protecting the inside. This is losing Sean time, so that mistake at the top of the hills could be the difference between winning this race and not. Sean pits, probably the right move. Get himself some free track if he's lucky. It will be where he comes out in terms of where Nathan is, but you shouldn't have to put as much fuel in. Ben's in as well, and he'll go for another set of softs, and Sean will have to put mediums on, I believe. Who else is in? Lewis is in, Panos and Tassos both in as well. flurry of pit stops on lap 11. Sean leaves the pits and he is going on to the mediums. Let's see who else we can see. Ben's on to the softs like we said he would. And he's out in front of Jake, so that's worked out for him. Lewis leaves the pits just behind Panos. So good comeback from Panos as well. And he's on super softs. So we'll cover what tyres everyone is on when we can. Andrew's in, Matt's in, and so is Brian. So Kevin still leads, but he owes us a pit stop. Cozzy as well, who's in second. Bobby up to third, but again owes us a pit stop. So the first of the pit stop, the guys that are going to the end now, is Sean, so he's ahead of Nathan, but only just. Nathan on the super soft though should have the advantage against the medium shod Sean. Ben not too far out of it either on the medium, on the soft tyre. So you can just see he's probably about 5-6 seconds off that battle. He's ahead of Jake though, so he'll be happy with that. And Tassos behind in 9th, he's on super softs. Lewis is on super softs. Panos super softs. Adam is on mediums, but he'll have to pit again because there's no way he'll make them last to the end. Same for Yorgos, who's got damage. So what's happened there? Did he do it to himself? Well, that's Panos that's gone wide in contact, and off into the wall goes Yorgos. I would call that a racing incident really. I don't think Panos meant to do that. He had to come back onto the track at some point. So that's not going to help Yorgos. So these guys plunge downhill now, and Nathan's ahead of Sean, so whether Sean's made another mistake I'm not sure. We're on to lap 13. So we still wait for these pit stops. Bobby and Jake are at it as well. So I think watching Yorgos we've missed a couple pit stops, but Bobby's come out and he's fighting with Jake for looks like 6th place, because Ben looks like he's got 5th tied down at the moment. Will's 11th, 12th is Yorgos, but he still needs to pit. Adam comes back out on super softs, mediums for Matt, but here's the pit stop we've been waiting for, and it's Kevin, and he's going to need a bit of fuel, and he'll go onto the medium tyre. Now we know Nathan's on the super soft, so this could be advantage Nathan. See where he comes out. Does he come out? They're all coming down the pit straight now. He'll have the shorter run around the first corner because he's got the tighter line through the pit lane. Let's see. I think he's going to come out in the lead. He does by fair margin. Nathan's second though on those super softs. Can charge after him. We could have a grandstand finish here. Nathan, well, wasn't really at the races in Interlagos, qualified 15th and is now currently second, chasing down the leader. Fair play to him. On a strategy he borrowed off Ben, by the way. Snake. Third is Sean. He's on mediums. So his pace will be similar to Kevin's. And then we've got Cozzy just behind that, who's also on mediums. Ben on softs. Big battle behind Jake and Bobby. Jake on mediums, as we know. Bobby takes the position around the outside, but Jake will not allow that, I wouldn't have thought. And doesn't. Fights him, keeps the position. And we've got Lewis and Panos fighting over 9th. Panos came from the very back, he was 16th on the grid. So he's gained some places. Super soft though for Lewis. Mediums on Will's car. At the back we've got Andrew on his debut, sort of to be expected really as he learns the cars. Nathan looks like he's pulling Kevin in though with his super softs, but how long will they last? We know the medium's not such a bad tyre around this track. It was pretty horrific around Interlagos. Ooh, and there's a bit of lag there which is not helping that situation. Jake stays ahead of Bobby. I'm sure it'll sort itself out. Probably everyone's downloading Dirt 2. Jake just edging away there through Stavelo. big run onto Blanchimont. That's where the Aston will catch up with its horrific power. It should be able to close down the Porsche. The Porsche probably one of the slowest, if not the slowest, on the straight, as we've mentioned before. Jake's still lagging a little bit, and well, Bobby needs a bit more track to get around that corner, and that's going to allow Tassos down the inside. Surely, I'd imagine the Alpha's bet on the brakes. Bobby tried to match him and then hits the side of Tassos pretty clumsily. It doesn't take the position, allows Tassos through, so Tassos up to 7th, Bobby down to 8th. So after a good opening to the race, he's sort of dropping back towards the end, unfortunately for Bobby, but still a good race. Shown that he can run with these guys, and definitely much better than he was in season 1. He's definitely improved. Sean though catching the back of Nathan, which is quite surprising. Nathan on those softer tyres, and Sean's going down the inside and taking a position, and with that I think that's any chance they had of catching Kevin, because Sean on mediums against Kevin on mediums is probably going to be roughly the same pace, and I think if Nathan had been in front he could have pulled them up to Kevin with his softer tyres, but it's not going to happen. Ben's in no man's land in 5th by himself. Jake's still 6th ahead of Tassos, and then Bobby. But there's Kevin, and really I think that's a mistake. If they'd fought it out a bit better, Nathan definitely had the better tyres to go and chase Kevin. That's probably let him off the hook a little bit. So we mentioned Ben in no man's land in 5th. There's Jake in 6th. Good little gap now to Tassos, who's 7th, our pole sitter. 8th Bobby ahead of Panos in 9th, who's got Lewis right behind him. Will as well recover. Remember, he had a little incident at the start of the race where he got reset twice, so he's doing well to be in 11th. So this battle will rage now to the end. I think these two are helping each other, but to me it doesn't make sense that Sean's in front on his mediums. Probably not alone thinking that, and Sean's really struggling to stay on the pace. To be honest, he's all over the road, and Nathan's being held up, you can see that. So again, I don't really understand that, and Sean very deep into the last chicane, which is going to cost them even more time, and wide on the exit. So all that's done is brought Cozzy into play. Cozzy will be loving this. He'll be like, thanks for that guys, you've just brought me back into the chance of a podium. Kevin now, for me, is going to win this race. A lap and a half, well 2 laps to go basically. Up through Eau Rouge and over Radion they go. There they go, over Radion. Down the straight to Lecombe, and Sean pulls out again ahead of Nathan. Nathan took the place at La Source because he had to, and well, they're sticking with putting Sean in front by the looks of it, because Nathan's not fighting that. If he was worried about that, he would have been on the inside line, still putting his eggs in Sean's basket, but don't think it's going to work. Jake's now got Tassos catching him again as Jake's mediums start to fall off. Can Tassos make that move? Bobby's still dropping back slightly. Might get pressure from these guys towards the end of the race. Panos and Lewis, if they can sort themselves out. Adams firmly in 12th, having pitted for more super softs. He's got a good gap to Yorgos. Then at the back we've got Matt, who's 14th ahead of Brian's 15th, and then Andrew 16th. But more and more increasingly likely that Kevin's going to win this race. These guys haven't really helped themselves. There was definitely a chance to catch him, but Kevin's used his experience, filed in the lap times, and these guys, well, they decided they wanted to fight over second place. So Tassos now has caught Jake. That will be a good battle to watch in the final lap. Bobby looks like he's just about safe from Lewis and Panos, although Lewis has passed Panos. The rest quite far back on their own adventures during this race. Ooh, what was that? That was a battle for second. That looked like Sean and Nathan pretty much side by side, but they've got Cozzy all over them, so any strategy they had is going to have to go out the window. They're going to have to fight. because Cosy, Nathan could have gone for that, backed out of it. Cosy just tap up the back there, Nathan who's slow on the apex. Ben not that far back, but he's quite low on fuel by the looks of it. Jake's definitely got Tassos for company on this last lap. So a few things need to be sorted. And, well, I think I can see Bobby coming under pressure from Lewis. Lewis having a great surge towards the end of this race. Kevin just picking up a penalty, probably a bit too quick over Radion. And now Cosy around the outside of Nathan, tries to take both of them. That's not going to work, but he's got Nathan. Nathan's fighting back and try and get the place back again, and he does. Bit of contact between the two as they try to squeeze each other again, but looks like Cosy's got it. Nathan's still down the inside. More contact as they try to turn into the apex, but Nathan just about holds on, and that's going to give Sean second place. Sean's gone, got a gap. And that's Lewis off. Did he jump or was he pushed? It looked like he did it all himself, trying to catch Bobby. Whoa, he's way too late on the brakes, locks a wheel straight across, and that's going to be a penalty, time penalty for that. He's made up too much ground to Bobby. Let's just stay with that and see. Yeah, 1 second, so that's going to ruin his race a little bit. Behind him there we stay. Kevin, no, still romping away with this middle sector. He's got this in the bag. Sean should have second in the bag ahead of Nathan. Tassos though is going to try and put a move on Jake. Remember, Tassos sat on the pole position. Stunning lap, and now round the outside he goes. Jake covers that. Jake's almost out of fuel, or Tassos is almost out of fuel as well, so this is going to be interesting. So up towards Stavolo they go, through there. But we switch back to Kevin, who's going to win the second endurance race of the season. He won it into Lagos, he's going to win at Spa, and in a great win, put under a bit more pressure this time, but came through it. And Kevin wins again for Mercedes. Second is going to be Sean for Mazda. Third, Nathan, a stunning drive for BMW. Fourth, Cosy, great stuff from him as well. Fifth is going to be Ben from the back. Sixth, it looks like it's going to be either, well, Jake and Tassos completely side by side as they come out the corner. Jake squares it up, plants the power completely sideways. Now it's the run to the line. Who's going to get it? Looks like it might have been Jake, and there's a photo finish to prove it. Just by a bumper he wins. Now that Alpha had been a bit longer, he could have got it. So Tassos 7th, 8th is going to be Bobby, 9th is Lewis, who spins across the line like an idiot. 10th is going to, well, 9th for Panos, 10th for Will, 11th is Lewis, 12th for Adam. Here he comes, and he's just not getting on with that car. He's wrecking tyres, and it's just the worst car to have when you're harsh on tyres. And the only reason he's harsh on tyres is because he's driving with a pad. But he's going to beat home Yorgos, who's had a adventurous race. So Yorgos comes across 13th, 14th will be Matt on his debut. And teammate Brian behind in 15th, and 16th will be Andrew in the second Aston Martin. We'll just run through those results again because there's a few penalties at the end. So Kevin ahead of Sean, Nathan, Cosy, good stuff from him, Ben, Jake, Tassos, Bobby, Panos, Will, Lewis and Adam. Kevin with the fastest lap. And on the second page it was Yorgos 13th, 14th for Matt, 15th Brian and 16th for Andrew. So that was that. Well, stunning racing, better than last week, not as much contact, but join us for round 4, which will be done by Liam, and that is the sprint race in the wet conditions. Thanks for watching.